Hi, this is Bonnie, and today I thought I would show you how you can decorate an egg, but it doesn't just have to be an egg shape. It could be an oval or it could be a circle. You can use the same technique for any shape. But I wanted to go ahead and tell you some of the things that I'm going to be using. There is going to be a brand new release on April 5th. Fairy Hugs is going to have a whole new release that I think there's around 22 stamps, and I am using some of those stamps in this project. And so one of the first ones I'm going to show you and tell you about are the ducks. And you will get everything you see on this sheet. You will get two different sizes. These ducks are facing to the left and these are facing the right. And you can make a really cute scene with those. I am also going to be using, there is another set of Condo Dwellers. This is Condo Dwellers 2. And you can see they're super cute and they're tiny. And we're also going to be having the Whimsical flowers. And we're also going to be adding a flower vine. So this has more of a flower look to it. And then the other thing that, this is from a past release, but I'm going to be using this flower right here. And this is called Fantasy Flowers, but this is a past release. So the first thing, I want you to show you this a little bit closer, what we're going to be doing. And in my stash, I have an egg shape. This particular shape that I'm using, the size, is about 4 inches by about 2 3/4 inches at the widest part. Now, I have this on a piece of folded cardstock because I'm going to make it into a little card. And in order to do that, you have to put this on the fold, but don't cut it so that it has to be above the fold in order for you to have a card base. The other thing I did was I'm going to be lining this in black, the egg in black. So what I did is I cut out a second one of these in black. And then these are, what do you call those, stackable, so they gradually get smaller. So I also cut the one that I'm going to be working on in this size. And this size happens to be the widest part, about 2.5, and it is about 3.5 inches long. So that's what this size is that I ended up using. Again, you can use any size shape and any type of stackables if that's what you like, or you can hand cut and do your own that way. So the first thing I did was I made the background. And in order to make the background, I needed a tiny circle for my sun. And that size is about 1 inch, I would say about 1.25 inches, about 1.25 inches, not quite, but pretty much that size. And you need that. You need some torn pieces of paper, and I've got 2 pieces of paper that I have torn to use, and you need to pull out some Distress Oxide ink. So I am going to go ahead and start at the top, and I am going to be, or actually I'm going to be starting with Squeezed Lemonade because I know about where I want my sun to be. And I'm going to need this mask in a few minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead, take a little bit of the Squeezed Lemonade, and I'm going to put this up just a tad so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And I'm just going to go ahead and make a circle right there in the center. Instead of putting ink on this entire thing, I'm just going to put it right about where I'm going to be putting my mask. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to add a little bit to that at the very end. So I'm going to save that out. The next color I'm going to be using is Wilted Violet. And with Wilted Violet, I am going to be coming up from the top and going down. And I'm just going to add a little bit here at the top. And I'm not using my papers yet. Okay. So that's pretty much all I'm going to be using with the Wilted Violet. The next color that's coming down will be the Abandoned Coral. And I am switching out my, blending brushes every time I do that. So I'm going to go ahead, and in this case, I am going to make it so that it blends, but I'm also going to set this onto, I think I'm going to be good. I don't need that on. So I'm just going to go above that and use, like I said, the Abandoned Coral. And I want it to blend in. Yeah, and then I am going to come back just with a little bit of the Wilted Violet, and I'm going to flip this because I want it to blend a little bit better. And I'm going to make that go into the Abandoned Coral. So you can kind of see that. That's what we're going to do for right there, okay? So the next color we're going to go with is Carved Pumpkin. I love Carved Pumpkin. It's such a beautiful color. And again, I'm going to use my mask now because I'm going to be going over that. And I'm going to be using this. And I think, yep, I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to move it over just a little bit so it's not the same type of a line. I love, love, love this Carved Pumpkin. It's gorgeous and blends in well. And I can see already that I need to come back a little bit with the Abandoned Coral again. And I'm just going to match that up a little bit. I think I went this way. Just add a little bit. Okay. And the next color we're going to go with, this is a lot of different colors, but it makes it really pretty. And the next color I'm going to go with is Dried Marigold. And that's going to be coming down. I'm going to look at my picture again to show you. I did that twice, and I got it a little bit darker. So I am using the Dried Marigold. And I have to keep my mask in place. And I'm going to flip that. Give it a little bit different line there. And hold down the mask and the paper at the same time. Okay. And I want a little bit more down here, but I'm not going to make it as heavy. I want it to be a little bit lighter. So that you can see the difference. Okay. All right. Then the next thing I'm going to do, in the original one, I made that all grass. In this one, I'm going to add a little bit of grass, and I'm going to put water because I'm going to be using, for this one, I'm going to try and use, I'm going to try and use the one that's swimming. So I'm going to have two different type of eggs. But like I said, first I'm going to add just a little bit of grass, and then the rest will be blue. So that color is Cracked Pistachio. I need my different brush. And I want to leave enough, like I said, for the water. So this is just going to be just kind of like a horizon. Whoops. Good. And this is tricky when you have to hold two, unless you tape it down, which you can do. And I think in this case, I might just add a little bit of tape for myself, just so that I can get that. Once I got that piece down, I'm going to go ahead and tape it, and then I'm fine. It's like having it, whoops, moved it just a little bit, but that's okay, because I've already got that part done. Normally what I do if I'm not doing this, oh, actually bled a little bit, but that's okay. Normally, if I'm not taping this, I am turning this around a little bit more. So, FYI, whatever you have put on your paper can bleed onto what you're making. So, I am going to go ahead and use my green one and finish this off with blue. And what I'm going to be using is Mermaid Lagoon. And I am going to be using my brush I had the green on. So I'm coming down this way to do the bottom. And I am not concerned about that little bit that was on there because I'm stamping on top of this. All right. I think I'm going to bring my green back in a little bit. Get some of that. Blend it in a little bit better. Okay. And then I do want to have a line down here. So I'm going to bring the Mermaid Lagoon back in and use my same brush and make a line. Let's see if we can make one. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So that is going to be it with the blending, except I am going to add a little bit more, like I told you, yellow to that center. So I'm using the squeezed lemonade and I'm coming back in and I'm just going to circle around, make that a little bit brighter and go out up beyond that edge. And that's what we're going to get for our background. That in itself is just really sort of pretty, and you could put anything, stamp anything on top of it to make your own little design just by having that. So I'm going to set up my stamping platform and we'll get stamping. Okay, so I've got my egg all set up to do some stamping. I'm going to be using VersaFine Clear Nocturne, and I am going to be using the duck that is swimming. Now there's a section or portion of this duck that can be colored in, and I am going to go ahead and color that little section in before. I always heat emboss my images, and I am going to color him in with some Prismacolor pencils. And just to let you know, I'll tell you which ones I'm using. This one is Mineral Orange, and this one has been cut off, but it is 1032. This is my darkest color. I'm going to bring it a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm looking for like the shadow parts, and I'm just going to put a little bit in the shadows. And then I'm going to be using that Mineral Orange, which is 1033. And I'm just going to blend that in slightly. And then I'm going to be using Jasmine, and it is 1012. And that is going to be pretty much, I'm going to check this out because I'm on blue instead of green this time. Make sure that that yellow is showing up for me. Yeah, it is. Because if the yellow didn't, I would go with a brighter color if it didn't color over the blue. But it's working fine. So he is all ready. I'm going to give him a little bit of color in his tail. Okay, so he's all ready to be heat embossed. If you can see that. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss him really quick. Okay, so I've got him heat embossed, and I'm going to go ahead and use the Fantasy Flowers first, as I want the other ones to come more towards the front when I emboss them. So again, I'm just going to stamp this one really quickly. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do it again right there. Okay, so then the next one I'm going to use is the new Whimsical Flowers, and the Whimsical Flowers are just going to go kind of like so that they cover, if you could see there. My other one I didn't cover them up as well, but this one I'm going to pretty much cover up those stems from the Fantasy Flowers. Okay, and then I'm going to add just a little bit more over to the side. All right, so I've got those flowers on there all stamped. I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss those as well. Okay, so now I'm going to be stamping the flower vines. Again, it's from the new release at the top. I'm just going to go across the top a little bit. Okay, and just work my way up. Alrighty, and I'm going to do one more. Every time I do this, it's a little bit different, but it gives it a little bit more character and makes it more one of a kind. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, seeing as I have it all set up like this, I'm going to go ahead and add my little fairy. This little fairy again is the Condo Dwellers 2 from the new release. And she's really cute. She's got her foot like she's, here I'll show you, like she's running. It's super cute. And I'm trying to get that little foot lined up with that one little petal. And there she is. So I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss that with clear embossing powder, and I'll be right back for the last step. Okay, so for the last step before I put it on the card is I added gold embossing powder around the edge. And it's very simple. I'm sure most of you have already done this. I'm just taking the VersaFine mark, and all I'm doing in this case is I am just going around the edge of it, just to get a little bit of that on there so it will adhere to the embossing powder. The embossing powder I am using is Nuvo, and it is the classic gold. Nuvo classic, and it's fine detail. Fine detail seems to make a big difference when I go to stamp anything with details. I really, really like it. This is not detailed, but it's awfully pretty. So all I'm going to do then next is just go ahead and pour that around the edges. And it's never the exact same, which is what I like. I want it to look a little bit more, if you want to call it organic, I don't know, but I like that it's, whoops, I like that it's like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss that, and I'll be right back to show you how it looks on the card. Okay, so I have that all finished, and I put the gold around the edges, as you can see. It really makes it a really nice looking card. And then I've already put the base, the layer on the card. And then with double-sided tape, I just go ahead and put that on top. And we are finished. And so now I have two little egg cards. I hope you enjoyed that. It was really fun creating these. Like I said, they don't have to be eggs. They could be circles, they could be squares, anything, just to give you the concept of what you can do. And they can be different every time. So I really enjoyed that you could stop by, and I hope that you can like and subscribe to this channel. I'll have all of the products that I use down below in the description. So thanks for stopping by.